Now let's look at the Lewis structure of molecules. To start, you want to know how many valence electrons there are. And subtract any charge. After that, you want to find out which atom goes in the middle. The least electronegative goes in the middle. Remember that the trend for electronegativity is as you get closer to fluorine, it is more electronegative. Once you've connected all the atoms with a line, connect all atoms to the central atom. Using a line that represents two electrons in a bond. Once you have done that, you use the remaining electrons to obey the octet rule. Hydrogen only gets 2 electrons. And last but not least, if in doubt, double or triple bond. Let's try some examples. Carbon tetrachloride. So, how many valence electrons are there? Carbon has 4 valence electrons and there's 1 atom of carbon. There are 4 atoms of chlorine and chlorine has 7 valence electrons. So 28 plus 4 is 32 electrons. I like to call them electrons in the bank. You do not use more or you don't use less than what you have in the bank. So once you know the number of electrons you have to work with, then you need to determine which atom goes in the middle. Carbon is less electronegative than chlorine, so it goes in the middle. And you write chlorine around it. And there are 4 chlorines. Make sure you write the number of atoms that you have in the chemical formula. You don't know how many students write only 2 chlorines when there are 4. Then you want to connect all atoms using a line. So each line represents 2 electrons. 2, 4, 6, 8. So you have used 8 electrons so far. 32 minus 8 is 24 that you have left over. Then you want to fill in to complete the octet rule. When you look at the chlorine, it currently has 2 electrons connected to it. So looking at chlorine, there is 2, 4, 6, 8. And you want to add them in pairs, and these are called lone pair electrons. So now this chlorine obeys the octet rule. So you're going to subtract 6 here. So 24 minus 6 is 18. Then you proceed with the other ones. This chlorine needs 8. It has 2. So 8 minus 2 is 6. 2, 4, 6. This chlorine has 2. It needs 8, so 8 minus 2 is 6. 2, 4, 6. This chlorine has 2. It needs 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. So 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 is 18. And therefore you have used all the electrons. Just to verify, you want to make sure that all the atoms that you have in your chemical formula are in your structure, so 1 carbon and 4 chlorines, and you have 32 electrons. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. And all obey the octet rule. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. There you have the Lewis structure of carbon tetrachloride.